It's so nice in this format because you record it and you don't have to be taking notes.
Right. And I'll be sure to send everybody a YouTube meeting. So full disclosure, we're being recorded. Watch your mouth, Sterling.
I hear you. I will.
Nicest guy in the world. You would never have to worry about.
You're just picking on me, I know.
There's nobody else to pick on here. There are no other guys on the meeting. I wouldn't pick on these ladies.
Yeah, you're right so far.
And Bunny didn't say that Jeremy wouldn't be here, but you know, they're the
Yeah,
dynamic.
she emailed me. I don't know. You probably haven't had time. I sent out a proposed letter from you, so you need to read it. And she got back to me, made a couple of good suggestions, but she also said she had family in, so she and Jeremy would be able to join us today.
Yeah, I got that's the message I think I got. So I'll look for the. Does the letter have her edits in it?
No, it doesn't. I haven't. I just got that a few minutes ago.
Okay, I'll wait.
Paragraph. I sent it to everyone too. So anybody, I sent it to the whole group that you sent the invitation to.
Okay, so you Republicans out there, even though I have the Mark Warner shirt on, I want you to know I'm a Democrat that plays between the 40s. I don't go one way or the other. I'm right around midfield. I'm a fiscal conservative, so don't get upset. Okay, it's 5 after 1. That'll probably be it. What I'd like to, this is the beginning of getting to swine and wine, and we're all gonna fumble toward swine and wine together. We're gonna go on a route we've never gone before. But before we do that, Rebecca, if you would just like in a few minutes, tell us your sense of how the appreciation campaign went.
Sorry, my unmute button is a little sticky, apparently. I think the appreciation event went well because I actually spoke to a few people and they had good feedback about it. The event was not to bring in money, but we got a check from it. We got a $100 check, which was a surprise, and it was really good. So,
is that the one I mailed you?
No, it was a different one. It was from Captain.
You got two $100 checks.
So then we got $200 at it, which is nice because that almost covers the cost that it was to send out cards.
Okay.
So that's always how we look at it with these events. You know, we just put just the tiniest bit of money in it, and lo and behold, we paid for ourselves, and that wasn't even the intention. So it was really nice. I talked to Karen. She's not here, and she was getting good feedback. So I think it was a success. We had Facebook posts going along, and a lot of likes on those. So I guess I want to know how you all feel about it. How do you feel the event went? What was the response you got from people? Were they generally happy? Were there any disgruntled people? How did it go for you?
Just to add to it really quick, on Facebook, I looked up the reach for all the posts that we made, and we reached 4,023 people via Facebook throughout the duration of the campaign.
Are you kidding me?
That was the reach from all the posts. So I took, I added up the reach of each post, so it could be a duplicated number, but overall that was the reach.
How do you define a reach, Caitlin?
So basically it's when we make a post, it's people that like and comment on it, and the number of shares, and then when people share it, it reaches other people in their network. So you might not see 4,000 likes, but you reach different people based on how it was shared on Facebook. So people seeing the post, engaging with it, etc.
That's fabulous. That was worth the price of the ticket right there, in my judgment, because it's all about touching people. and they know who you are, so they might not remember you until that next time you touch them, but then there's that third time and fourth time. So thanks a lot. Peggy, did you get any feedback?
Well, you know, said I didn't know people, so the one person I did call because I knew them, I had a great conversation with them. They didn't generate any money, but they talked about how positive Boys and Girls Club was. And then, so I thought that was good. And then I did go back on again, trying to see, are there other people I should be calling? But it seemed like it was filling up, and I thought if you really wanted people to just call people, even if you didn't know them, I would have gotten a tap saying, doesn't matter if you know people, go out and call them. So I deferred to the people who I thought maybe they had a personal relationship with them.
Yeah, and my comment on that is, I think, for one, I could have done a better job on my calls. But you know, this is the first year. Megan, what's your sense of it?
Well, my sense of it is online, it went really well. I got feedback from businesses who said good things and noticed without being told that they were mentioned, and it definitely put them on the radar. So I think that cross promotion worked well.
That's super. Bill, what's your take?
Yeah, I think I got good feedback. I think when you call, there's a bit of silence when you say your name, because usually when I say my name, the next question is, can I have this, or can you make a donation? And I think I felt that relief when they said, no, I'm just calling to thank you and tell you how much we appreciate your support. And then they really got engaged. So, and Andy Mason said, look, when the Swine and Wine comes, I want to make a donation and provide something for the auction. So, and then with United Way, Dawn Bird, I called her and thanked her, but then I sent her a letter, which comes out of this letter. And she had it sent to all her board members, and another person who's in charge of a board. I sent that person a letter, who then forwarded the letter to all the board members. So one letter reached like 45 or 50 people that I couldn't have possibly called all those people, but they were all represented by those two boards.
That
Bill,
is great.
I wanted to let you know, Bill, too, that Andy Mason participated in our virtual Youth of the Year and won 2 auction items. So I actually talked to him on Friday. So, he is
will
involved.
Be a good support.
Andy's a very good friend. And I told you, he actually cooked our pork one year. Can't say enough good about Andy. My sense of it was just, first of all, we've never done anything like that before. And I just can't thank Caitlin and Rebecca enough for there are 2 aspects of what you do. You work hard, but a dummy can work hard as they want and never get anywhere. But we had 2 of the smartest people in the world putting this together and then helping us execute on it. And I just thank you at the risk of embarrassing you in front of your boss. Adriana, they are the tops. They are true keepers. And that's all I was.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you can keep going. I'm very blessed to have them.
He knows that we're keepers.
You heard the man. Smartest people in the world. The world, Adriana.
They really are. Hey, look, with the exception of, Megan and maybe a couple others who are into the social media stuff and how marketing is this century as opposed to ads in the newspaper. We could never have done this without you guys. So thank you so much. Now that's behind you. We're going to do it again next year, and we'll do it even better. And the key to next year, we're going to be focused on one thing: broaden the engagement of other board members. And those of us who are kind of the core of this board, we're going to have to take on another board member who probably does not have the time because they have kids and they have work and all those things. But if they have somebody that kind of working with them, we might be able to get more participation. But the broader the participation, the better. So that'll be the focus next year. So looking forward to next year. Now, switching gears, swine and wine. Rebecca and I have had a short talk, and we think, but we'd like to go around the room on it. We think that November 13th might be a little ambitious for what we'd like to do. There's nothing magic about October 13th, except, I said November, but I meant October. There's nothing magic about October 13th, except that it's close to where we have traditionally done our face-to-face. But, you know, we're not doing it face-to-face. We're doing something new. And I think it's to our advantage to give ourselves as much time to pull this thing off as possible. But again, as smart as Rebecca is, we aren't the smartest people in the world, right, Rebecca?
Oh,
We're
you're
kind of
close.
maybe 9 and 10. So let's ask Peggy what she thinks.
Well, are you asking me if I think October 13th is soon?
Too soon to pull off what we'd like to do.
Well, I kind of think so, but then I'm trying to think, are you thinking of going closer to the holidays? You know, once we get beyond the election, when you said November 13th, I thought, oh, that's an interesting time to have it because we're kind of getting into the giving season and the celebrating season. And maybe by that time, people are going to want to celebrate and be giving. So that's intriguing to me to hold off a while. I do think October 13th is pretty fast.
Yeah, yeah. Megan?
That's really, really soon in my mind with the way my weeks work. But I mean, I think that whatever works for the group. Time flies.
Well, that's, I mean, I think you're right. Especially, Megan is one of the few of us on the board that's working all the time. I tell you, working hard all the time and has a family and all those issues. And she shows up. So God bless you, Megan.
Thank you. I feel like I show up with about 40% of myself, 35. But
hey, we'll take it. We'll take it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Bill, what do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was October 17th is the date we had, but I guess you're right. Now that it's virtual, it's not weather related. We kind of moved it to October because we didn't want it to be too cold, and that's not a factor. So I think maybe buying another month would be a good idea because I got a major event this weekend, and I've been out today collecting raffle and door prizes, and I'm thinking, man, I've got just less than a month to go out and do it for Boys and Girls Club, and a lot of them are the same people. So another month.
Okay, so Bill, we're going to take you off the hook. You're off the hook, Bill. Now,
I've got my usual that I always get, and they like supporting Boys and Girls Club, so
yeah,
not a problem there.
Okay, so if the 13th is out of October, we've got a date that, and then there's another thing that we ought to tell everybody. Rebecca is getting her shoulder fixed.
November 11th and 12th, I'll be out.
Oh.
So I think we want to do this thing before Rebecca goes under the knife.
Well, let me, before we go there, Bill, if you don't mind, I have my calendar pulled up and I'm going to tell you all some important days that are happening in November. And we'll see kind of how, the 3rd is the election that we just talked about. Then Thanksgiving is November 26th and November 27th is called Giving Tuesday. Now, as an organization, Boys and Girls Clubs, we recognize Giving Tuesday. We don't do a huge campaign. We kind of keep it to social media. That's the, well, excuse me, Giving Tuesday, I'm sorry, it's not the 27th. Giving Tuesday is December 1st because you have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday. So I don't know if you want to work around that or somehow work that into it. I'll leave that up to you, but I just kind of wanted to bring those dates to your attention. We will, as an organization-wide, recognize and do a small social media campaign for Giving Tuesday, but it's not one of those where we go all out.
Okay. I tend to think we want to stay away from it.
Okay.
It's called, when I was, working, you want to harmonize your channels. And doing two things, I mean, people get worn out. And I tell you, frankly, I'm afraid of going ahead without you, Rebecca. If something should go wrong, and I pray it doesn't, why risk it? I'd like to get this out of the way so you can go to sleep on the table knowing that the swine and wine went extraordinarily well.
My last thoughts in this world will be, but swine and wine.
How do I feel about all this?
I don't know. It's a pretty simple thing that I'm having happen, but that's cool. That's good. We'll think of worst case scenarios. I'm all about that.
Yeah, you should have this all behind you. And I'm thinking if we push it as far as we can, that would be November 7th.
Are we still intent on a Saturday?
That's another thing, Megan. Are you clued into my mind here? You scare me.
I might, maybe so, Bill. Maybe so.
And that was the other thing. We were on Saturday because we always did the face-to-face Saturday, but Youth of the Year was on what, Tuesday? Was it, Adriana? Thursday.
But that's just because whenever we do black tie events, like we normally do them on a Thursday for when they're in person, because that's usually the best time because people can spend some time and they only have to go into the office on Friday,
What night is best for people? Saturday night, you've been running around all day Saturday because you work and do things during the week, and you might even forget about swine and wine on Saturday night. What do you think, Peggy?
I'm looking at the November calendar while you're talking, trying to figure out, oh my gosh, does time fly? I don't know. I think maybe Jim and I are aberrations because it's just the two of us. But on Friday night is kind of a chill out night. Let's just chill out. And Saturday night we try to make plans. If we're going to do it on a weekend, a Friday night would be fine. I hesitated trying to do it during the week because I think people get so busy. So I'm looking, we have the 6th or the 7th are the 2 days before. I wouldn't do it on a Sunday.
No. Megan?
I don't know. I'm sitting here. I think that a Saturday night for something virtual, and this is just me, it's really easy to do anything that comes up and blow off the thing that's virtual.
Mhm.
COVID makes things a little bit different. It does. It just, it's not the same as having a ticket in hand where you're going to interact with friends somewhere.
Yeah.
That's a good.
But then,
I agree, Megan.
I was just thinking about the National Folk Festival was Saturday and Sunday, and I managed to tune into about 20 minutes of that before it ended at 7 p.m. on Sunday. Just trying to think, I don't know what the optimal time is, but, and I know that Sundays are a conflict for a lot of people. and that's a time with family, so people don't necessarily want to. But I'm thinking that a weeknight might work better. If I don't know, but I know that Saturdays are a time that I might not be looking at. If we're going to have this on a platform where we're trying to pump it up on social media, it might be better tuned into on a weekday.
Kiwi, what do you think?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. I think a weekday probably would be better, and I was thinking maybe either a Tuesday or a Thursday because it is virtual. I mean, I agree with what Megan said about the Saturday, and Sunday's obviously out. And usually kind of just during the week when people are settling down, they don't have that much going on. They can kind of tune in for a little bit and just watch, you know, that time between after dinner and getting ready for bed or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. On the assumption that it's very well publicized, and I think that's going to be the key to this thing. We're going to have to do a lot of selling and, you know, get ready for it. Here it comes, that sort of thing. We just want to get the night that people are least busy. Bill, have you chimed in here?
No, I kind of agree with what Megan was saying. I think Saturday night, I mean, some people do socialize because they have family or a close set of friends that they feel comfortable with, and that would be the night. College football is big. You know, if there's a Virginia Tech or Virginia game happens on Saturday night, you're going to have a lot of people tuning in on that. And so I know I'm thinking a Thursday like Kiwi, or Tuesday. Tuesday's not possible because that's election night, but November the 5th is a Thursday. I don't know if you want to go to the 10th because it sounds that's backs right up to the operation. So if you're trying to get it before November, and you're looking at a weeknight, the 5th.
5th or 6th look pretty good. Yeah.
And,
Okay,
and
so
Friday,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt.
You go ahead.
no, but
Okay.
Friday's like a weekend, so.
Mhm. Well, I was going to say that I agree that Saturday night is not the night to do it. Now, that was one of the points I was trying to make, but I'm debating between Thursday and Friday, and I don't know how it's all set up. We happen to be real football fans, so we have Thursday night football, but then I thought, well, maybe this whole thing can kind of be even promoted as, you know, during halftime or a break in a football or something, come join us for Swine and Wine. And so it might end up that you get people who are hooked into stuff and would tune into something. I don't know.
I think that's a great idea, and that's kind of how I was thinking, you know, even if we could say have dinner with us before this or something where we just ask them to engage earlier than they normally would with that event that they carve out time for every week.
Yeah, because Thursday night, I think a lot of people hang
Now,
out
what
there.
time does Thursday night football come on?
Like 8, maybe?
Yeah.
8 or
late.
We could be in and out by, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I have to admit to you, Adriana, I was watching television during Youth of the Year.
I know.
But you know, I coughed up some money, and there were periods where, you know, you can. I definitely, when the candidates were speaking, and those were some of the best speeches we ever had. Then, you know, they grab you, but kind of in between, you can keep it. You can, and people are going to do that.
Mhm.
It was also very long. I don't know if we need to be 2 hours long with Swine and Wine.
Yeah, we'll work that out. You know, we had a late start for, you know, technical reasons, and we're going to be so much smarter by we're going to go to school on Youth of the Year and on the what is it that Portsmouth does?
Oh, Suffolk oyster roast.
Yeah, the oyster roast. Oh, this will spin like a top. I have all the confidence in the world there. If the others don't like it, they can lump it. They should have shown up. But I'm relying on Peggy's and Megan's and Kibi's judgment and go with the 5th. Now, you know, we've got some time to change our mind because the date isn't really critical until we send the first announcement out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But-
but we should be doing that pretty soon, I would think.
Yeah, but we're not going to do it tomorrow. So if you have a dream, Bill, and you decide the 5th isn't it, and what I'll
'Cause
do,
this letter had a date. I had October 17th in it because I thought that was our date, but we'll hold it and change it. So everyone needs to look at the letter.
yeah. Was this a letter to go to the newspaper or?
Yeah, so sort of
Okay.
the main point was to tell people what we did all summer, that we had a food program, that we just didn't take the summer off, and that what Kathy was doing. But then at the very end, he said, and we are having a Swan and Wine, but it's virtual, and it will be on, and then we'll just
Yeah.
plug in the date but we need to firm it up at some point.
Oh, hey, look, we will firm it up within 2 or 3 days. I'd like to give the remainder of the board who weren't able to participate in this exercise an opportunity to say, yeah, that makes sense, or let me tell you why that's the dumbest thing in the world. And that's a 2 or 3 day thing, Bill. And by the end of this week, we will be ready, and we'll be rocking and rolling. And what will we be rocking and rolling with? Rebecca, what will we be rocking and rolling with?
I don't know what you're asking me.
I'm asking you to tell us all about this platform.
Okay, well, for those of you who attended our virtual Youth of the Year, a virtual event is basically, it kind of goes hand in hand with a virtual event website and with social media. So on a website, we have an auction, and that auction can start a few days before the actual event. One of the main things that the board will need to do is to find in-kind donations for the auction. Think about your silent auction that you generally have, but also keep in mind that these are things that will need to be picked up or mailed. So we don't want to spend a lot in shipping. So a lot of gift certificates are going to be perfect. Gift certificates are the main thing we want. If we have packages and cakes and things like that, as long as we have a pickup point and pickup directions, that's great too. So we'll have an auction. We will have the site set up with our sponsors listed with clickable links. And I know that you always have a card that you send out with the sponsorship levels. We can redo that with what the sponsors will get in a virtual environment. But they can have their own clickable links, and we can also work together about what sort of content would you like? Would you like to do a spotlight on your Youth of the Year candidate this year, Desiree? Just like we had a website, a tab dedicated to her, we could do that again. We could have a tab dedicated to Kathy. We could also, do you want your band to come and do, and this is up to you, your budget, and also if the band is willing to do their own live stream the night of the event, where the band does a live stream on Facebook Live or pre-records us their own concert. And we post that up, and concerts are a huge draw because the band is going to advertise themselves. We're going to be putting it out there that the band's coming, and you may have people that come just to hear music. So again, that's up to you. You saw that we had someone singing as part of our program, but our event didn't have a band. That could be something that you do. So there's a lot of moving parts, and the more we can, that's part of the reason for wanting this to go a little later so we can get it out. You would have to make the decision, are you sending out paper invitations again this year? Or are you going to send out email and online invitations only? Send out invitations perhaps just to the sponsors and not to people that usually buy tickets. These are all things that you can decide. I would recommend, though, as a next step, Bill, I know that you're going to talk to the board about getting a date, And the next step would be to set up regular meetings for perhaps a core group that wants to work specifically on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
be doing that.
Perfect.
What terrifies me, Rebecca, is the publicizing it and really touching people time and time again about
Mhm.
coming. So if they don't show up on the date we pick, at least they'll know about it.
Yes.
I don't want anybody to not show up because they didn't know it was happening.
The nice thing is, too, that with opening the auction up 2 or 3 days earlier, depending on what you want, we also open up your donations or your funded needs. So people that maybe they can't come Thursday, they'll pop in Tuesday and drop you a little bit of money. And whatever event happens on Thursday night, it stays recorded. So someone that couldn't attend Thursday night could go look at it Friday morning. It's not live, but it's there. It's safe. They can see it.
Okay. Did any of you tune in Youth of the Year?
I watched the recording. I didn't see it live, but I watched the recording.
What's your impression, Peggy?
Oh, I thought it was interesting, but like you, I could stop it and start it and go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
May I ask a quick question here? And maybe, I think you were talking about it, but I wasn't quite sure. Last year was the first time I went to the event, and I remember there was a lot of socializing and the auction, and then we went in and there was the program and there was the band. What's the agenda look like when you do it online? I mean, is there a tentative, like a plan, or how long the actual show lasts? I can't get it in my head.
Yeah, yeah.
That's okay. It's a good question. And really, Youth of the Year was the first time we ever did this. So we were really trying to see how that looked too. And how it turned out was the actual, I mean, there were a lot of moving parts to it. And it was open for a couple days where people could go and do the auction and such at their leisure. But the actual event where there was actually a video that people could watch, that was, for us, it was 2 hours. For you, you may decide on only an hour if you're, and what you're going to have, that depends. Do you want to have a couple pre-recorded speakers saying something, make a video about your club? Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
Please.
That is a good point, though. Maybe on the front of the page, we should actually have like an agenda.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Things like layout, like from, whatever the start time is for 20 minutes, you'll see this. Because then people can kind of tune into their favorite part.
You nailed it, Adriana. Yeah. I approached it and I didn't know where to start. I wanted to have an instruction book on how I navigated that thing.
Yeah, we did too.
There were tabs there, I was afraid to click on one tab because I might miss something that's on another tab. I was just totally confused.
Yeah.
And maybe if I had a roadmap right up front, and maybe we can send the roadmap out even before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Megan, were you able to tune in at all? And Megan, if you say no, I can understand why.
I was not able to tune in at all, and I'm sorry, but
no, it's okay.
I'd love to look back at the recording.
Megan, don't be sorry.
We understand. No worries.
No, don't worry. I'm happy that Megan. I'm happy you're here.
Thank you, Bill.
Bill Sterling, did you tune in at all?
I was at another meeting that night. I wasn't aware that you could go back and replay it. I realized the night was on, and I had a planning meeting for this event I'm in.
Hey, Bill, don't you ever apologize for anything. How many years have you been a Boys and Girls Club board member?
Oh, I guess it's getting close to 15, somewhere in that
You,
range.
you have put in thousands of hours. You get a night off. You get a night off. So Peggy, it's
I
you
do,
and me, the two of us. And what we're trying to do here is make sure this thing is simple for people to give their money. That's all we want. I
Right,
want to
yeah.
make it as easy as possible to write a check. Keep in mind that most of the giving and most of the commitments happen way before this date. We'll have our
Yes.
sponsors lined up. We'll have our auction items. So all the heavy lifting and work will be done before, but we want to make the event as memorable as possible with very positive memories.
You know, I think one of the things that would be, I keep thinking of showing my age, but remember Jerry Lewis and the telethon, you know, that went on every Labor
Oh,
Day for
yeah, yeah.
hours and hours and hours. And so I think of that, and I think if it's, you know, if it's zippy, and I kind of like the banter and the introduction in the beginning, and that was light and fun. And then having the testimonials from the kids and maybe somebody doing something, and, you know, but saying, don't forget to have the auction, don't forget to do your thing. It not heavy and relatively short. And you're right with the table of contents saying, tune in, you know, from 8. I don't know. I know I have a son who's a TV producer, and I just know that he works in 1 minute and 34 seconds, and then something lasts and all of that. So I don't know who in the heck has the talent to organize it, but keeping it moving and having a roadmap, I think, is important, and you'll get people in and out.
Adriana,
Yeah.
since you were there on the front lines with the pre-recording of that and the video production, do you want to address kind of how that went on our end?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
I'm sure people are tired of seeing my face. I was in that a lot.
No, it was fun.
But essentially what we did is we have Tyrell Scott, who's one of our club staff. He's actually now working part-time with the admin office.
We're losing
wait.
you, Adriana.
Can we mute the phone
Yeah,
number?
everybody mute. Everybody mute.
Okay. So Tyrell Scott was, he's a staff member at our Virginia Beach Club, and he's now working part-time for the resource development team as our media coordinator. So he was in charge of doing all the filming for this. So what we decided to do was, for all that banter that you saw back and forth, I wrote a script in its entirety from start to finish for the entire event. And I'm trying to think back because it's all a blur. And wrote out everything that Kevin and I were saying. And then what we did was we broke that down into different sections. And Kevin and I came to the Rosemont Club to film that day. Tyrell set up his camera in front of our backdrop. And then Kevin and I just stood there, and we actually had a big whiteboard that we printed out the scripts like as cue cards. And Kevin and I had to read the cue cards. And then they would get taken down, and then we would stop at that section, regroup, and then do it for the next section. So that's how we did all of the pre-recording for the banter between Kevin and myself. And then with all the sponsor videos, I told the sponsors what we needed as far as the length of time. I pretty much wrote their scripts. Some of them went a little off, which is okay. And then we had them record everything on their own. Our board president likes to tell me he used a stapler and a hole punch to film himself. And then he emailed it over to me. And then Tyrell, our media coordinator, actually edited the 2 hours worth of footage together based on the show flow that we wrote. So that was pretty much how we did all of that. Did I answer everything, Rebecca?
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to give you an idea, Peggy, of how we did. Most of our program was pre-recorded because there was just so much, and we're all in so many different locations right now, that doing a purely live event is, I don't want to say impossible, but it's pretty impossible with
And it's very risky, very risky.
Very risky.
I think you guys did an awesome job. If it was the first time you did it and you're doing all of that, I thought it was good. And so I guess my point is, if we're going to do it again, now you do have those lessons learned, and to do it that way so that people know what's coming and when and all that, keep it moving is what's important.
Absolutely. We did have one little live element. We did a Facebook Live when we gave the award out and announced the Youth of the Year. I like it I would like it if we had the band do their, because bands know how to live stream. Bands do that. So if we decided we wanted the band and we went to them and said, could you live stream a concert just for us? They would probably know exactly what to do.
As the person who contracted the band, I'd asked Bill earlier in this week, I said, don't we want to cancel the band? Because I contracted them way back before we even changed it to a virtual auction.
Yeah.
They've done it before. It's 7 members. We pay them $700 and they come down there and they have to ride. Well, that's right. They used to ride down the road. So then you get $100 per person for 4 hours. So I don't know what they would be charging, but I don't get the feeling that they're savvy enough from a technical point of view that they even know what live streaming is. They just play, and they're loosely organized. And obviously this year they haven't been playing anywhere because there have been no events to play.
Yeah.
So maybe they can do that. Maybe they can't. What do we pay them? But I think we can't hold on to that commitment much longer. We need to say we're doing this virtual, or we need to let them go.
Yeah.
As far as they know, they're still. I haven't talked to them.
Let's decide right now. Let's decide right now. Ban or not?
I mean, as Rebecca says, can't you can record any music. You can have a top flight band from anywhere. And would you be paying for that? Is it worth the bang for the buck?
Yeah.
And I think,
Peggy, go ahead, Peggy.
well, I think I have a friend who's an entertainer, out in Vail. She sings all the time. And once a week, we do a Zoom. She sends out a Zoom thing and a whole bunch of us get together and we have we're 40 minutes of Pat singing to us and bantering back and forth and all of that. But it's a whole large group of friends. It works, I think, because it's a person-to-person touch, and there's an interaction. So I think if we were going to have the band, that might be kind of tricky because I don't know if they would do it recorded, if they'd have to be live. It's that feedback the entertainers want.
Can't be live.
Yeah, and so if it's taped, I don't know how you would exactly work that in, but I'm not being a naysayer. I'm just saying my experience during this COVID thing with going to concerts and all of that is they've been interactive and live, and that makes them work for me.
Rebecca, tell me again what the band buys you assuming it was a good band, they knew how to do it.
I always think of there's a local band called Good Shot Judy, and they do concerts every Friday night, and they do Facebook Live. So they do them live. They don't have an audience, but they almost pretend they do, and it's a joke because we all know there's no audience. So they have like a funny laugh track, to make it seem like there is, and everyone knows there's not. But they do it live, and you could pre-record it, absolutely. The big thing that I think we would want is, and somebody could just record it on their cell phone or with the camera there. But when they're doing their live concert, for them to stop every once in a while and say, where, I forget the band's name, that was the HM, that
was last year. This year it's
Groove Junction.
What is it?
Okay.
Groove Junction.
Okay, so we're Groove Junction. We're here tonight for Swine and Wine benefiting the Eastern Shore Club of Boys and Girls Clubs. They say that, go back to our page, donate. We give them some things to say in between songs. So we can have that. If we do it pre-recorded, we just get it and put it on the page. We upload it where people can see it. We can also put it on Facebook.
Now, what's the dynamic with the people who are viewing the event?
Yeah.
Do they jump around and
They can if they want.
they hit the band has a tab?
We can actually put it so the band's on the very front page.
How does that work?
Well, you know, when you went to the Youth of the Year, how you saw the videos on the front page?
Mhm.
The band would have a video on the front page, just like the other ones.
Oh, they're sharing part of the screen?
Yeah, we can do. You can give them their own tab if you'd rather do that.
No, I'm just,
Have them
I
on
am,
right in
hey,
front.
I'm the dumbest one in the world on this.
No, but I want to know what you like because your feedback. All of you have great feedback, and I especially like to hear what you didn't like and what you think we could do better. That helps us. So, if you
Okay.
liked having different tabs, or if it confused you, that's what I need to know.
Well, I really don't know our options. Megan, what are you thinking about the ban?
I'm sitting here rolling that around in my head as much as possible, and I completely agree with the idea of short little vignettes and keeping people's attention and not having it roll along. I keep thinking about a singer-songwriter being a good fit, you know, even just a song. If we're trying to keep it down to an hour or an hour and a half or under 2 hours, we wouldn't want too much of anything. And we wouldn't want a bunch of songs in a row, right? We just want a song and then maybe a clip of something with a Boys and Girls Club youth, or someone asking, talking about what it takes to sustain the Boys and Girls Club. I'm trying to get this whole thing. I need to look back at the
Yeah. You know,
Youth of the Year event to better understand the platform.
I'm having trouble wrapping my head around what that screen looks like or what we want it to look like. I do have a sense that the fewer moving parts, the better. But there are certain moving parts that we just, you know, are absolutely important. Like, is the auction a moving part?
The auction is a moving part, but honestly, if you can just get the items and get me pictures of it, I take care of all that.
But no, I mean from a viewer's perspective.
Mhm.
Is that one of the items that they have to decide they want to look at versus another item?
They can open it up in a new screen.
Yeah, that's okay. And it's that kind of navigation that scares the bejeebies out of me.
But I liked what Megan was saying. I don't know why I hadn't thought of that, but if we're going to do a little video on the front, if we get a pre-recorded music video, we can, you know, have a little bit of talking, then a little, some pictures of the youth, and then the band, and then go back to have more talking, and then another short video, and then the band. We can do that. I didn't even think of that. I like that.
Or we don't necessarily have to have groove function. We can just we can still some. Is there like music on the internet that we could just borrow?
I think you got to pay for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now I'm sure that there are videos from B&GCA, but they're not really music videos, but there are videos from them that we actually used.
Okay.
We don't have to have the music if it's,
You know what's going to help us decide?
what's that?
Can you do a mock-up of what we would see as a participant that night
Yes.
that you could share with us in our next meeting?
Yes, I can do that. Do you want to, real quick, I know we don't have a lot of time, but if you like, I could share my screen and just show you the page we had this past Thursday.
No, don't do that now.
Okay.
Don't do that now. I'd like to have a mock-up of what you would anticipate our youth, our swine and wine would look like.
Okay.
With some of the, you know, the things you said, might have Youth of the Year. We might have Kathy.
Mhm.
We might have, you know, a band. I'd like to spend the rest of the time deciding when our next meeting will be and giving a little thought to promotion. Our next meeting is going to revolve around Megan's availability. And I'd like to do this in about 2 weeks. And what is the best time of the day or night for you, Megan?
As long as my Monday isn't taken with anything else, Mondays at 1 that's not a difficult time. Every now and then I have a conflict, but I don't see one on the 28th, if that's what you're thinking.
Okay, then we'll nail that down. Our next meeting will be on September 28th.
Perfect.
And our agenda will be looking at this mock-up that can you phony something up like that, Rebecca?
I can. It won't have a lot of detail, but I can phone you.
No, just kind of things that we could point to and
Absolutely.
you know, tabs versus partial screen, that
Sure,
sort of thing. How the auction would work in it.
Yes, absolutely. And I can get your program that you wanted, Bill,
Yeah,
the instructions.
yeah. And then we have a framework. Then we can play with it, move things around. Okay. We need to,
Okay.
and our big promoters aren't here, but we need to have a advertising strategy pronto. I'm going to lean on Shannon and Bunny. I think the core of putting the, what do you call this thing? Platform? Or what's the name of the company that delivers it?
Greater Giving?
Yeah, they have the software, right?
Yes, correct.
What's it called again?
Greater Giving.
Greater Giving.
Yeah.
Now, the Greater Giving board core, and it's because they're here. There's a price you pay when you show up. It's Peggy,
Yes.
Megan, Bill, and me, the 4 of us. Now, if we get some other people that want to get on board, we'd love to have them. But continuity is very important. The things that we've said in this meeting are, you know, the core of what we're going to do in the next meeting. So I'm really depending on you guys because you know you're dealing with a dummy here. So we will meet again. Meanwhile, I will get up with Bunny and Shannon and get on an advertising strategy that I guess is kind of like, you know, save the date and then a whole lot of follow-on things, touch. We've got to get our sponsors going, but it's all doable.
May I jump in with something that's on my mind?
Yeah.
I don't want to derail you, Bill, but what I was thinking is that the event last week kind of grabbed people's attention because at the end of it, I mean, you knew they were going to make this announcement, right? And so you watched it. That was the hook that, would have. I'm trying to think of what the hook is for this. You know, when it was face to face, for me, it was getting to touch the object. It was getting to talk to people. And so I don't know. And maybe I'm off the wall, but what's the hook of getting people to be there? And is there like a grand prize or is there a raffle or something, you know, join us and do this interactive thing. And at the end, you know, the big auction piece or a raffle. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of some way to get people to tune in, not just because it's Swine and Wine and it's something that's good to do, but you know, I don't know. I'm just trying to think of what it is.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yep. It's a good observation.
And let's noodle on that.
Okay.
Just because our meeting is next 2 weeks from today, we're kind of 24/7 now, folks. And if you have an idea, Peggy, pick up the phone. I'd love to hear from you. We might have, apart from our regular board meeting, if you will, we might have a 15-minute conference call and kick ideas around. But you're absolutely right. Why we have to keep asking ourselves, why would people want to come on a Thursday night? And it's all the way we promote it. And you gave us a good idea. You might tie it into Thursday night football. You know, warming up for football, some kind of theme like that.
Or maybe if they buy a ticket, they're automatically enrolled in the raffle, and the raffle is a whatever it is, something that really gets them going. I don't know.
And you know, that's a good point, because we aren't selling tickets. Maybe we should be selling tickets. You know, not tickets, raffle tickets.
Right.
We'll be selling
Well, and
raffle
I was thinking,
tickets.
do we maybe
Go ahead. I'm muting myself. Go ahead, Adriana. Mute yourself.
like 2 free tickets 2021, because we're hoping to in person. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I was thinking maybe the winner could get 2 free tickets to the Youth of the Year event in March. I don't know if that's appealing.
We can figure out the prize. The big decision here is we'll have a raffle, and we'll be selling raffle tickets, and the hook will be the drawing. How's that sound, Peggy? You're on mute.
Yep. Yeah. I think so. And I don't know if there are legalities. Do you have to do anything?
Hey, Peggy, we never worry about stuff like that.
Oh, well, then we are in.
And we'll figure out what the prize is. It could be Youth of the Year tickets or something. We can think about. We can be creative about that.
How about a catered dinner of pulled pork, since it's swine and wine?
Something like that. Yeah, there.
I think that might be kind of fun.
That's great.
I mean,
you tie
you
it
could
back
put
to
together-
swine and
Yeah.
wine.
You could put together a basket of pulled pork and coleslaw and wine
Taste
and
of wine.
whatever. But
Well,
yeah,
we're dealing with this somewhere else. We cannot sell alcohol direct.
No, we're not. No.
Okay. I was just gonna say we can't do that.
But we can sure give you all the pork and chicken.
Right.
Okay, it's 2:00.
I got one question. Do I talk to the band and find out what they can deliver? Or tell them we'll get a date, or what they can pre-record, or just say we're going in a different direction, or what do we need to tell the band something soon?
Okay,
We've
but
waited-
Bill, string them along. They're not going anywhere.
That's what you told me 2 months ago.
Yeah, keep stringing them along, Bill. Unless they say, look, Bill, you smooth talking. You have a relationship with these folks. You can do it, Bill.
Well, at least I'm gonna tell them. They think they're playing at a live event for all I know. So I need to tell them.
Why don't you just tell them everything we've talked about? We're really struggling with this thing. They are really partners, and we need them just to go another 2 weeks with us, or less. Maybe we can decide a week or so. But
And at least I can find out what they can do from a technical point of view, if they can pre-record something.
we definitely don't want them live, and
what the cost would be.
yeah, and those both. I don't know if they've ever recorded themselves. It might just be,
I don't know either, and I wouldn't think they would have as much time in it as they would at the live event. So it may be a different cost, but again, there's 7 people, and they can't get together but so cheap.
Yeah. It might be easier for them to get together one Thursday afternoon and do it. I don't know. But look, I can't take more than an hour of your time. We will get together again on the 28th. But if things come up, let's talk to each other. And thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. But this is so much fun. We're blazing a new trail, friends. So we don't even have time to go around the room. So
Yeah.
bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.